Hey Gary, well, thank you for not kicking me last night because I was in a not shit-taking mood, which I'm still in. Now, I don't know anything about your childhood or the other people that espouse this pessimistic view of life and this idea that by some crazy notion you think that while you wouldn't commit a single murder, somehow you are sure of the objective right of committing, 7.5 billion murders, if only hypothetically. I like to think that you wouldn't do that given the actual chance, but we're talking philosophy, and your philosophy certainly advocates that, obviously. Now, my impression, again, I know nothing about your childhood or anybody else's childhood, but my impression is that this whiny kind of bitchy nonsense is the same kind of suburban angst and upper middle class kind of angst that you see with the Columbine shooting or any of this whiny bullshit destructive nature. Now, luckily, as far as I know, none of you have gone to that direction, but I really see it as part a different kind of expression of the same sort of self-sorry feeling. You were growing up, you were enjoying your parents' wealth. They blew smoke up your ass and made you think the world was this pretty place, and oh, you were so upset when you found out it wasn't true. Meanwhile, people who didn't have that good of a basis never fooled themselves that way. That's the advantage they got. So instead of being fooled, instead of getting a nice little childhood they could have enjoyed more directly, they got reality quicker. And when it came time to be an adult and they were on their own with their own mistakes and all, it feels fucking great. I absolutely love enduring the suffering that has been the result of my own decisions compared to the suffering of the self-centered adults and baby boomers that I had to deal with in my childhood. And no, I didn't even have that bad of a childhood. I wasn't beaten or anything, but I did get a huge mind fuck and a lot of self-interested petty people fighting. And the short of it is that my family was divorced from my parents divorced when I was 2. The grandparents were divorcing around then too, and it was just this big shattered uh, structure, a broken family, and they decided they would have a big old family feud, and it was a mind fuck. And to get out of that and face the both having to overcome the crap that gave me, and then the stuff that then I decided, which may or may not be related, and all of that, as I say, was a fucking pleasure to be on my own and have my own chances. And my misery and the cost that I have paid with my miseries in life, those are my strength and my benefit. When I overcome, those go in the column at the fucking top. All right, and you could say, "Well, I had a really good orgasm with a really beautiful woman." That's the top of my column. What the fuck ever. Overcoming real shit has been a very big, substantial uh, part of why life is enjoyable. Okay. And I never thought, well, this is all about me getting the best cupcake. Oh, now I'm older. The best orgasm. Oh, the best. It never was about that for me. I didn't suffer those delusions. Now, you guys just need to get over your delusions. Stop feeling fucking sorry for yourself and go fucking do something. Gary said, what if we spent the 8 hours that we spend in sticking, which I spent about an hour, but anyway, uh, sending all the money we used on this electricity to Africa? How about if you spent the fucking 8 hours talking about what we could do for Africa? How about talking about how to get clean fucking water? You talk about the misery and the dog has worms and blah. What about the people that fucking give their life to figure out how to cure worms in dogs? Why not do that? You just fucking whine and moan, and it's because I think you probably had it too easy at some time, and when that rug was ripped out from underneath you, instead of growing up, you just stayed a child, and you whined and moaned about how you should have get something better, mommy, you should get something better. Okay, so I'm not sorry for you. And you guys always are like, well, what if you had 75% burns or you were a kid with cancer? Yeah, well, what if I was that kid with cancer and I overcome the cancer and you tell me my life is still miserable and I should die when I realize, fuck no, my life can't be miserable compared to what I was going through. A few regular miseries I could survive, that's great compared to a fucking fatal illness. But you don't want to listen to that. You want to ride on the back of those suffering people to say how shitty life is, but you won't turn and ask them. You say, oh, well, we can't ask them. You can't ask the heroin addict if heroin's good or not. But what about asking a heroin addict that has gotten over addiction how that fucking works? You know, what about asking people that had the kind of suffering you guys love to quote and they got over it? Why not ask them what they fucking think of it? What the fuck do you know about it? You guys have not really suffered, obviously. And you want to point to those suffering people, and you fear more than anything else that you would be in situations a tenth as painful and destructive to your psyche. Meanwhile, they can hack it. You can't. Just grow up. The best thing you could do would be to embrace the suffering that you've felt and fucking overcome it.